Puerto Bayahibe, Bayahibe's port area, offers an opportunity to spot a surprising variety of sea life without even entering the water. The visibility here is excellent. Usually the water's crystal clear, although it always depends on the weather. You'll get the best view from up on the quayside looking down on the water. Low down on the beach, it's a lot more difficult to see what's going on in the sea. And one thing to look out for is manatees, but they are rare to spot in Bayahibe. It's definitely a special occasion if you do get to see one. So it's just always better to be on the lookout with your phone battery well charged and have very low expectations. But let's move on to the things which you do stand a very, very high chance of seeing. Needlefish. Perhaps the easiest unusual fish to spot in Bayahibe are the needlefish. They're carnivores, they feed on much smaller fish, often called bait fish, as they're used as bait. How do needlefish get their name? Maybe it's from being so relatively long and thin, or because of their needle-like teeth, or because when their jaws are closed, they form a sharp, long, pointed dagger shape that can be very dangerous, even deadly to humans on rare occasions. Needlefish are very easy to spot both during the daytime and the night here in the port. They swim very close to the shore and they're usually just below the surface. Sometimes they jump out of the water and their length is anywhere from a few inches up to 3 foot long, but it's very rare to find them that big here. Colour is greenish bluish silver on the back and more silverish on the underbelly. There are 3 varieties of this species, but we aren't certain which we see in Bayahibe, so if you have an idea which they are, please leave it in the comments. A quick note on safety regarding needlefish: when you're in areas which they do frequent, don't swim or paddle wearing jewellery, watches, glasses, or anything that could glint or shine in the sun or cause light, as it could cause a dangerous reaction from needlefish. Be aware that they can jump out of the water. Avoid being near bait fish when they're being hunted by needlefish. Stingrays come hunting in the harbour at night. They're also attracted to the area by the fish parts that the fishermen discard into the water when they clean their catch. The fishermen are situated on the right side of the port, and if you go to that area after dark, you'll have a very high probability of seeing a ray close up in the shallow clear water. I'd say if you spend at least about 20 minutes to half an hour there, you will almost certainly see one. At the time of production of this video, there are at least 3 stingrays frequenting the port, one large and mature, a medium one and a small young one. Unlike fish which lay eggs, stingrays give birth to live young. Stingrays are sometimes referred to as flattened sharks, and in fact they are actually cousins to sharks. They generally like to be in water that has a flat sand bottom where they can hide. Stingrays have a flat underbelly, adapted to let them nestle on the ocean floor. They do so by tossing sand up on top of themselves for camouflage and protection from predators. Camouflage is their primary defence, but they will sting if stepped on, hence the advice to shuffle your feet in the sand when walking in the water so that you won't startle any types of stingrays and get stung. The stinger in their tails is a spine of about 1 to 1.5 inches long, and it's made of a hard tooth-like substance. The spine has many small barbs, like small fish hooks, going the opposite direction of the point of the spine, and it's also covered in venom. Contrary to popular belief, urine, alcohol and ammonia are not good to put on marine life stings or bites. Instead, soak the affected area in hot water, ensuring it's not hot enough to scald, for at least 30 to 90 minutes or until the pain subsides. Monitor water temperature throughout the soaking period and replenish if it cools down. It's crucial to immediately seek proper medical guidance and remove the stinger with appropriate protective equipment to avoid complications and secondary injuries. We aren't sure what type of stingrays we have here in the port, so if you think that you can identify them, please leave a comment below. It may be the stingrays that have attracted sharks to the port at times. Another theory is that the fishermen cleaning fish and throwing it into the sea has attracted the sharks. We haven't seen any big ones, just fairly small ones, so don't worry about it. This is the balloonfish. They're a medium-sized member of the pufferfish family. They look very similar to porcupine fish, but the balloonfish has no spots on their fins, and they have brownish marks running across their bodies. They're also much smaller, growing to a maximum of 20 inches. These fish have powerful jaws that are well suited to break open shells so they can eat what's inside, but they can break fingers too. They're relatively poor swimmers, so to protect themselves against predators, they rely on camouflage and two defence mechanisms. They can raise up their sharp spines, which normally rest flat against their bodies and are difficult to see when you just notice them swimming normally in the sea. And as a last resort, when they're cornered or molested, they can inflate their bodies up to 3 times their normal size by swallowing water or air. This trick takes a toll on the fish, and a study has shown that the balloonfish can become easy prey once they're recovering from deflating again. So don't bother these fish trying to get them to inflate. It may cost them their lives. They can often be seen near recesses and cave openings. They like to swim under overhangs, which there are plenty of on this side of the port near the fishermen. And they also like to go in other protected areas, such as hiding in tall seagrass beds. They have a tan, olive-coloured body, brownish band running from eye to eye over the back, as we've said. They also have a yellow iris. Normally, if they see humans, they're pretty tolerant if you make slow movements, and they will be expecting that they're camouflaged and quite protected unless you move suddenly towards them. Unlike the stingray, they don't seem that bothered if you put the light on your phone on when you're taking a photo or video of them. Balloonfish are nocturnal predators, generally hiding in crevices during the day. Here you can see a small young balloonfish at night in the port. It never ventures very far from the cover of the rocks or overhangs. Balloonfish are consumed by many open sea predatory fish, most notably sharks, tuna and dolphins. But the young are also vulnerable to birds. Adult balloonfish venture out into the open sea for mating. Balloonfish eggs are spherical and they float in the water. They're abandoned to the oceanic currents and may travel big distances during the 4 days of incubation, after which they hatch. Before we wrap up, here's a random sighting of fish whilst we were in the port area. You never know what you're going to see. On this occasion, we were satisfied there were no needlefish or other hazards around, and we jumped in to get up close with this shoal of fish. As you can see, they cluster together as a form of camouflage. It almost is imperceptible. It looks like a shadow or something dark under the water, something that isn't a shoal of fish, especially just from a glance or from looking at a distance. Thanks for tuning into our video. Don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss out on any of the interesting and fun videos we release about Bayahibe and Dominicas in the future.